was born and raised here in Lafayette, Louisiana. I've never lived anywhere else other than Lafayette. My affinity for cooking came at a later time in my life, to where I really love cookbooks and reading cookbooks, but I'm very about being spontaneous when it comes to being in the kitchen and not doing exact measurements, but rather sort of going with the flow of it. I like cooking Cajun dishes because it's indicative of this area. I love to smother anything. I think smothering is again something that's sort of this area and of Cajun country. I cooked a Crawfish Bisque, and it's more of a Mississippi Gulf Coast bisque, which is more tomato based. The bisques of Southwest Louisiana to me are a little more darker roux, kind of like a stew or a gumbo. This recipe is a family recipe. My mom's family on the coast has a cookbook. You always start out with your onions and your bell peppers and your celery and your garlic, and quantities can be loosely measured, and it's something that you just get a feel for after a while. Well, in the meantime, I made a roux, and I'm all for a jar roux. I actually do that most of the time. For this particular recipe, I made my own roux, and again, I enjoy the method of it, the oil and the flour and the stirring and slowly letting it get brown, and there's something that just makes you feel very accomplished when you make your own roux, and so I enjoy doing that for this recipe. So you saute your vegetables in vegetable oil or olive oil or butter or whatever you have on hand, and you just sort of let them sweat down a little bit, get wilted, and once it's cooked down, probably like 5 or 10 minutes and wilted down a lot, you will then add in the peeled tomatoes that you chop up, and then eventually you add in some tomato paste as sort of a thickening agent, and stir that, cook it down for probably about 5 minutes. And then you add in chicken stock, or you could add in a vegetable stock. Then you add in some additional water, and then put your seasonings, basil, oregano, salt and pepper, red pepper flakes, and then you add in your roux that you've made, whether you've made it yourself or bought it from the store. You add it in, and that's going to really thicken up the bisque, and you let that cook for probably about a half hour, and then you add in your crawfish, stir that, and just sort of let it cook down for probably an hour. Probably about 1.5 to 2 pounds of crawfish is good for this recipe. And then you go on to making the boulettes, or the stuffed crawfish heads. In this case, I didn't have any clean crawfish heads, so I took an egg and some bread pieces and onion and bell pepper, and you put that in the Cuisine, pulse it up a little bit to sort of make like almost like a little crawfish paste comes out of it. And to the crawfish sort of paste that you make, you add in some chopped parsley, any other herbs that you would have would be fine, and then you make them into the individual little boulettes and roll them in the breadcrumbs and deep fry them. I think the essence of good cooking involves a comfortable home kitchen, cookbooks, and at the same time non-measurement of things, a little laughter, and just sort of being at ease in a kitchen and experiencing sharing time with others, mixing and cutting and stirring, and eventually breaking bread.